Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to EnggAdda. So today I will be discussing about the Spring Reactive CRUD project. So here I am going to create a Spring Reactive project and I will be covering the CRUD operations like create, read, update and delete. So there is a two prerequisite for this project. So you have to install the IntelliJ on your machine, and the second is you might be having a PostgreSQL on your machine. So I am using the PostgreSQL as a database. Okay, so first thing you need to have is you have any of the IDE to use like Eclipse, STS or IntelliJ you can use. I am using IntelliJ here, and the second thing you need to have is a database. So I'm not going to use the MySQL as a database. I'm going to use the PostgreSQL as a database here in this project. Okay, so let's get started. So I will open my IntelliJ and then I will show you how you can develop those things. So come here, come to the I already have opened the IntelliJ here. You can come here to the file and create new project. Okay, so here you can name this project as a, let's say it is a reactive Spring Reactive CRUD project, Spring Reactive CRUD. Okay, go to the next. Here I am using some starter dependency. So this is a reactive project, so we need to have a Spring Reactive Web. Okay, Lombok I am using for my convenience. Okay, and the other thing that you need to use is for the database I am going to use the R2 DB as a database. Okay, connector. So here I'm because it is a reactive programming, so we need to have a R2DB here into the database for the connection. Okay, so let's go to the SQL here, and we can find the Spring Data R2DB-C, and we are using the PostgreSQL as a database, so we need the PostgreSQL driver here. So this 4 starter dependency that we need. Okay, let me create now. So it will take some 10 to 30 seconds of time to configure this project. So it is configuring now. After that we can start our development. So simply I will be like how traditionally we try to create some get, put, delete and post APIs, similar way I will create, but this fashion of designing is a reactive fashion. So let's say how it is different from the traditional programming approach. So yeah, I think it is configured now. Let me open this IntelliJ source main. Okay, there is one problem, it is not open in the form of Maven repository. So let me close this and then reopen again. So let me go here, open recent and Spring Reactive CRUD in a new tab. So there is a glitch with my IntelliJ. It is not opening the project in the form of Maven repository, but when I am just closing and reopening it again, it is taking a Maven project. So here you can see. So once it is configured, we can start doing the development. So I was telling about the development, how we'll develop this reactive application. So the look-alike of this project, reactive project, is same as the traditional project that we develop, traditional REST APIs that we develop. Okay, so I already have a video on my channel where you can refer. If you don't know how you can create a traditional CRUD application in the Spring Boot with the MySQL or a PostgreSQL as a database, then you can refer those videos. So coming here, so I will create some packages like, let's say, entity, okay, service, repository and the controller. So I will go into the Java. Here I will create some packages. Let me create the entity package first. Now let me create the package, let's say repository, and then controller. I am skipping the service package. I am directly going to call the method of the repository from the repository into the controller. So let's say, okay, before going to the development, I just want to brief you about the database that I am going to use. So I am using the PostgreSQL as a database. So I already have installed the PostgreSQL on my machine, and when you will install the PostgreSQL, you will find this pgadmin page, and there you can see there once you will open the pgadmin, it will ask for the username and password. You have to provide the username and password when you are installing the service. So at the time it will ask for your username and password. Okay, so whatever username and password you have provided at that time, the same username and password you can use to log into the pgadmin. So I log into the pgadmin. I have created one database called my database, and similarly you can create your own database, and there I have went inside the table and I created one table called product table. So you can Google some queries of the SQL or PostgreSQL, how it is working. You can create one table and you can insert some of the records. I already have did this thing to save your time. So you can see that this is already created. So I am just going to run a query, select query from the product. I created this product table, and let me run this query, and then I will show you what all the items that I have inserted here. So you can see there is a 3 records that I have inserted. Okay, now coming to, so this is all about the database. So you need to have installed your PostgreSQL database, and then you have to open the pgadmin. There you need to create one database. Let's say I have created this. How you will create the database? So you can come here and you can create those things. Let me show you. Okay, go to the file. Okay, not file, you can come here to the database. You can right click here and create, and then you can give the name of the database that you want to create. So similar way I have created this my database, and inside that it will open all these features, and if you go inside the schema, you can go inside the table, and then there you can create a table. You can run the query and create the table. So I created this product table. This product table is having 3 fields: ID, name and price. Okay, ID is auto generated, and name and price we need to generate. So I inserted these 3 records here. So I will use this table in my project. So this is about the database. Okay, now come to the IntelliJ. I'm going to create one entity. Let's say the entity name is product. Okay, and let me name it like table, and I'm using Lombok, so I directly can create the all argument constructor with the help of these annotations. Similar for the no argument constructor, and similarly for the data. So for the getter and setter, I am going to use the data, and this is all about this thing. Now let me create some instance here. So let's say I am creating the integer ID, which is a product ID, and let me create the name of the product, and then let me create the price of product. So I'm taking because I have created the price as a string, so that is why I'm taking the string here. At the time of creation of the table, you can either define your data types of the fields. So there I have defined string for the price, so that is why I'm taking price here. Whatever fields you have defined there, you need to take it here in the development as well. So let's say it is price. Okay, so the ID should be auto generated, so that is why we need to annotate it with the ID. Okay, and this name and price are columns. So let me do like column. These all things are from what I would say relational database. Okay, @ column. So we are done with our entity class. Now coming to the repository, I'm going to create a product repo as an interface, and then I will extend from the Reactive CRUD repository. Okay, so let me create this product repo, and let me extend it to the Reactive CRUD repository. And here we need to pass this 2 argument, which is a entity, and let me remove this. It is product, and the second argument is the ID of that entity which is of integer type. Okay, so this is about the product repository. Now coming to the controller, I'm going to create a controller class. Let's say it is a product controller. Okay, and this should be annotated with the REST API and REST controller, some REST related annotation. So it's a REST controller and request mapping. Here I am going to map it like API. Okay, and or we can map it like product, something like that. Okay, now let me create those four annotations, sorry, those four APIs: get, put, delete and post. So I'm just directly going to create a get mapping here, and sorry, yeah, let me create one get method, public, and the return of like I'm going to create two get mapping. One is to get all the records from the database, and another is to get the single entity from the database. So you might be knowing about the reactive programming, that for dealing with the more than one entity we are using flux, and when we are dealing with only single entity then we are using mono. So here I am using the flux to get all the records from the database. So flux of product, and get all product. Let's say the name of this method is get all product, and what I am going to use, I am going to auto wire the repository here so that we can use the method provided by the repository. So let's say it's a private product repository, product repo, and then product repo. Let me import this class and flux also. So yeah, we are done with this. We are going to use the product repo, and then we are going to call the find all method of the product repo, and just simply we are returning this thing. So we are done with the first mapping, which is a get mapping, and which is retrieving all the entity from the all the records from the database, all the product record from the database. Let me map some URL here. So let's say it's find all. Okay, and coming to the next API, which is also a get API, I'm going to develop now, and then post, put and delete I will develop later on. So let's say it is a get API. Here what we are doing, we are just mapping some URL like product, and we are passing the ID here as an argument. So this is the ID, and here what I am going to do, I am using this ID as a path variable. So we need to provide in the form of URL only. So let's say it is integer ID. Okay, and now coming to the method implementation, what we need to do, we need to implement the method which is find by ID, and here we need to provide the ID, but the return type of this should be mono. Okay, so let's say I'm going to use mono, and then it is working. Coming to the others method like post and put and delete, I'm going to create those things. So I already created these two methods to get mapping, and now going to create the post mapping here. And let's say I'm not using any APIs to, or something like, yeah, we can use something like insert here, and in the form of, okay, and it is of void type. Return type of this should be void, and here I'm just going to change the name, get product by ID, product by ID, something like that, and here it is inserting, so insert product. I'm just changing the name of the methods. Okay, so it is done. Now coming here, I'm just providing the response body, and here I'm just providing the user's detail that we will send from the postman as a form of request, JSON request. Okay, so let's say it is, sorry, it's not a user detail, it's a product detail. So let's say it's product. Okay, it is request body. Okay, let me remove this. Here we need to fire the save method of the repository, and we need to pass this product reference here, and then we are not doing any return because we are simply saving it to the database. So this is also done. Now coming to the put and delete. So let me implement the delete first, and then I will show you how we can implement the put mapping in the form of reactive programming. So there is a slightly difference how we are doing traditionally, but it is slightly different in the form of reactive. So let me do it, and then I will show you. So coming here, okay, let me create the put first, and then I will show you how we can create those other things. So coming to the update one, what I will do, I will just the return type of this should be update mono of product, and we are just simply updating the things. Okay, so let me do this, and then it is update product by ID. Okay, and what I am passing here, I am passing two things. One is the new record of the user of the product that we are going to update, and one is the ID. So with the help of the ID, what we'll do, we'll find out that product from the database, and then with the help of the request body that we are sending as a new request, it will update based upon that the already existing record of the product. So we'll pass here these two parameters. One is request body, and here I will provide the product reference, and another is at the rate path variable. In the form of path variable, I am passing the ID. So I will explain why we are using these two argument here, and let me change this thing here, and then let me do some implementation first, then I will explain you how you can use this. So the return type of this should be project repo dot. So it is slightly different in the reactive programming. So you can see by the way of coding, you can also see how it is different. So I am finding the product from the database with the help of ID, and then I am just mapping it. So I am using some Java 8 configuration here. Okay, so let me go for that. So let me put it down, and then I can show you better way. So it came here, and then now what we need to do, simply we are just setting the name and the price, and we are getting it from the reference that we are passing it here. So let me get from here, and then similar way for the others also, and yeah. So let me return this first, and then we'll do the flat map, and we are saving back to the repository here. So let's say product repository dot save, and then passing the reference here. So what I am doing here, so I am passing this product reference, which is a new data that we want to update with. Like this is the new request that we want to be inserted into the database. So with the help of ID, what we are going to do, we are finding out the particular product ID, and with the help of this reference, we are updating that already existing product. So that is what I am going to do here. I am just setting the new, just finding out the product from the database, then setting it with the help of this new reference that we are providing. So I set the name. Let me set the price also. So set price, and here I'm going to get the price. And then what we are doing, we are returning it, and then we are making it a flat map, and then again we are saving it back to the database. Okay, and here we are returning the whole thing as a mono. So this is about the put mapping. Let me change it to the put. And then one thing we need to develop is we need to develop the delete mapping, and then I will show you how you can run it from the database and all. So delete mapping, and here what we need to do, let me pass delete here as a API, and then passing the ID on which ID you want to delete. Okay, so we are not returning anything for this, and here what I am going to do, delete by ID, and passing this. Now let me call the delete method of the repository. So delete by ID is there, and we are not passing anything. So we are done with the development of the APIs. So what we did, we did some development. We created a entity class with product. We created a repository interface and extend that repository interface with the Reactive CRUD repository, and then we created the couple of APIs here. Now I'm going to test it. So let me run this application. Okay, so let me change the port of this application first, and then I will run this on. So before going to change the port, I need to make some configuration so that we can connect to the database. So here we need to provide some URL and username and password, then we can connect to the database. So I already have noted down these things. So let me copy from here and then paste it. You can take a look, and then you can, according to you can design it. So my database is up on let's say localhost, and the Postgre is, this is the URL for Postgre. Okay, and this is my database name that I have created. You can come to the PG admin. I already showed you that this is the database that I have created. So let me go there again and check it. So it is my database, and here I have also provided that my database, and this is the username for me, and this is the password that I have set. So all thing is working fine for me. So I already did this configuration for you. So this is the username for me, and this is the password for me, and this is the URL. So you can take a look, and you can, according to your username and password, you can design these things. So this is the database that I have created. So this is all about this, and then let me change the port number. So let's say it is 9090, and let me run the application now. So I already have couple of records into the database. Okay, that I showed you that I have 3 records. So let me go for the get API first, and then I will show you what about the insert, post and put and delete one. So coming to the IntelliJ, come here, enable this. So it is up on 9090. Now go to the browser, and here you can say, let's say it is HTTP localhost 9090, and then let's say the URL was product, and then let me go to the controller class, and then let's see how it is created. So for get all, it is find all. So let me find all first, and then I will show you find all. So you can see this 3 records is coming up. So that means the get mapping is working fine for me. Now coming to the another mapping that we have created, which is find by ID. So let me see, it's product and then ID. So product and then ID, let's say it is 1. So you can see the find by ID is also working fine. Now coming to the insert, let me go to the postman and insert something. So let me change the port 9090, and then it is product, and then for insert, what is the API, let me go there, and for insert it is insert, and then come to the postman. Let me do the name, like let me insert some tablets here. Okay, so tablets, and let's say it is of 10,000. Price of the tablet is 10,000. I'm going to insert it. So for that, the method should be post. Let me hit it and then let's see. Come to the database and then run this query. Okay, let me select this. Okay, it is not inserted. Let me go there and then see how it is working. So come to the postman. Let me provide the ID here first and then let's see. So ID and then ID is let's say it is 4 and then try to hit it. Come to the database and then fire this query. Okay, why it is not picking up? Let me see and then try it. So yeah, I was doing something wrong here. So coming to the post, was return type of this post was void, which is not the case in the reactive programming. So that is why it was not able to insert the product into the database. So I changed this to the mono, and whatever product that we are inserting from the postman to the database, it's returning that. So I checked it out and then it was working fine. Let me show you this database. I inserted some product here. So now coming to the postman, I will again insert some other product to show you that yeah, it is working fine. So it is up on port 9090. Come to the postman, come here and then let's say it is bicycle, and the product is of 10,000. Okay, let me post it. Okay, now come to the database and then fire this query. So you can see the bicycle is inserted here. You can also insert couple of records. Let's say it is bike and the price of bike is let's say 1 lakh, and then hit this API and then you can see the bike is inserted. Come to the database, you can run this query and then you can see the bike inserted. So it is working fine as the post is concerned. Now coming to the put mapping, let me update something for some particular ID. So go to the postman and let me show you. I'm going to update the price of the bike from 1 lakh to something others. Okay, so let me go to the postman and then the ID for the bike is 7. Okay, so I will select that and it is product and then update. Let me go here. Let's see what is the API that we map. Update and then ID, and then let's say ID is 7 and then updating the price to something like 2 lakhs, something like that, or 1,20,000. Okay, let me change this method type to put and then let me send it. So you can see the bike price is updated to 1,20,000. Now coming to the database, you can also see those changes. Let me fire this and then you can see the changes here. So all the APIs are working fine. Come to the delete API. Let me see what is the API that we mapped here for the delete. So come here, it is delete by ID. So come to the postman. I'm going to delete the ID number 7. So let me delete and let me change the method to delete and then send it. So come to the PostgreSQL database and then fire this query. Okay, it is not deleting. Why? Let me come. Okay, so return type of this method is void, so that is why it is not working. So let me change it to the mono and then we'll see of product and then delete and then simply returning the deleted product. Okay, why it is coming? Let me delete by ID, something like that, and then what is the error? make delete reactor mono void delete by id return processor mono void. Let me try with this approach and then we'll see. So I'm stopping the application, I'm rerunning that application, and then I will try to hit the API for the delete and then we'll see how it is working. So I'm passing the ID and then let me pass. Okay, let me go to the database. Let me run this up query and then we'll see how it is working. So you can see that it is deleted. So this is all about the CRUD application in the reactive programming in the Spring Boot. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content.